If I wake up and there's
the
not
mini
a
boss.
legendary reperk, I'm gonna cry.
Probably not going to be.
Well, then I'll cry.
Oh, I'm a coming.
Not because I want to, because I'll be coughing so much that I'll cry.
We got to sit for 1.2 of the 900k. Oh my god.
What's up everyone, this is NyhlekDreams back with another Fortnite Save the World video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new Steampunk shotgun, the double boiler that was put into the game last night, and it's arguably one of the better shotguns in the game and definitely the best nerf weapon I've ever seen. We're also going to be taking a look at some important information on some shotguns and the way that you should be using them, so let's go ahead and jump right into this. If you don't have the double boiler shotgun, it is available in the weekly shop here for 1680 gold, so you can pick it up that way. I personally have not leveled this up myself yet, so we're going to be taking a look at one that was given to me, and many thanks to Death Grip. He's the one that provided this and, you know, put the rolls on it. I personally didn't really want to level it up because it kind of performed like the Stalwart Squire, and I didn't want to level up and put the perk up in. So huge thanks to Death Grip for being a trooper and getting a lot of perk up and being able to level this up for me so that I can show it to you guys. This is definitely the rolls that I would use on this weapon, and we'll get into that in a little bit, the reason for why I would perk it this way when we talk about the usage of certain shotguns. But for now, we can go ahead and take a look at the weapon rolls and some of the stats. So you see we have a crit damage and then a double crit rating roll. And I know a lot of people aren't used to this and many would not recommend it due to the diminishing returns, but there is a reason behind this. And for the fourth slot, we have a raw damage just to kind of buff up the damage. And our element, we went with energy so that we can deal with any elemental smashers. Now for the weapon stats, I do want to point out that you have a headshot damage separate from a non-headshot damage hit. Unlike the Stalwart Squire, you don't have to hit a headshot with the Squire to do the same amount of damage. This weapon does perform much like the Squire in the sense that it hits really high numbers, but I just wanted to point out that you will have to aim for the headshot with this shotgun. And then up next we have the critical hit chance at 56%. This is with all the crit rating added in. And in our crit damage, we have 410%. That's with Buckshot Raptor as our primary hero. So this is just all of the stats coming together. And then the last stat that I want to point out is the long reload time of 3.5 seconds here. I'm sure many of you noticed by not having a reload speed slotted in this role. But as I said, there is a reasoning behind perking it this way, and we're going to go more into that in the gameplay portion of the video. But we can go head over to the hero loadout and talk more about what we're going to be using here. And we got Buckshot Raptor in the commander slot, which is increasing our shotgun critical damage by 225%. I realize right here it says 125%. It just looks like they messed up the tooltips again. The math is solid behind the crit damage, the 410% crit damage that you saw on the weapon stat rolls. That is the correct number, so it should be 225% damage here. But hopefully Epic can get that tooltip situation fixed and it doesn't confuse too many people. And for the team perk, we decided to go with Preemptive Strike to try and gain more one-shot potential for husks that haven't taken a hit yet. And just trying to push the limits of one-shotting smashers and doing large amounts of damage to the mini bosses and stuff like that. And then for the support team, we've got base solo, which is going to be increasing some duration on Warcry based upon the amount of eliminations you get. We've got Locked and Reloaded, which is going to be increasing your damage by 15% after you reload for 5 seconds. So this is really great because a lot of shotguns are just low magazine capacity. You can filter those shells back in and just keep on getting a damage increase. So that's a great one to have on shotgun builds. And Leadership is just going to be decreasing that Warcry cooldown by 17% so that we can, you know, make more use of Warcry, just kind of pair it with base solo and get the most out of the buffs that Warcry brings. And the next one we have is Shell Shocked, which is going to be increasing your shotgun damage by a raw 17%. And in the last slot we have In a Pinch, which is going to be regenerating a percentage of your shields for 3 seconds after you reload. And it's been stated that this is also giving you a reload speed increase, so this is one of the reasons you don't have to go with the reload on the weapon roll itself. It's going to be an inadvertent way of getting some reload speed that I'm not sure if it's supposed to be here, but technically you can take advantage of it right now. But it doesn't really play into the reason of why I would slot out the reload speed for that extra crit rating. But let's go ahead and get into some gameplay and show off this double boiler and talk more about shotguns and the ways that you use them. Now, I just want to start off by saying that this is a fantastic shotgun and you can choose to perk it whatever way that you want to better suit your playstyle, but when it comes to shotguns, there are certain ways about them that set it apart from the traditional way of choosing a weapon like an assault rifle. Normally you're trying to determine the range at which you're shooting a husk, and that kind of plays into factor what you choose for your assault rifle, but with shotguns it's a little bit different, and the way that I normally explain this to people that are asking is shotguns fall into one of three categories based upon the way the weapon performs. So the three different types of shotguns are: 1, you have a group clear shotgun; 2, you have a long range shotgun; and 3, you have a smasher killer shotgun. And the way that this works is when you have a group clear shotgun, you're looking at something that's going to deal with a large group of husks, as apparent by the way that it's labeled. You're normally looking at something like a dragoon or a disintegrator. For your long range, you have something like a long arm enforcer or a helium shotgun, and these are used to handle blasters and takers at a distance, because one of the flaws with a shotgun hero is the range at which you can actually be capable of taking out a husk. So a long range shotgun like a helium shotgun or a long arm enforcer is pretty much a must in trying to stay alive when you have blasters trying to shoot lasers at you from 3 or 4 tiles out. You need something that's going to be able to take care of them so that they don't have the upper hand on you. And normally I recommend just the helium shotgun because it outperforms the long arm there. But back to more of the reasoning for why I suggested you would perk the steam boiler in the beginning of the video is because since you don't have to deal with mist monsters as a whole, since the helium shotgun takes care of the blasters and the takers at a range, you're more trying to build something that's going to deal with smashers as quick as possible. But since smashers are on a lower cooldown, you don't have to have such a high reload speed, because this weapon itself wouldn't be really used against trying to kill multiple blasters. So since the smashers are on a slower respawn rate, you're not really going to be needing to put the shells back in really quickly. So you're going to be putting the crit rating in to try and boost your potential of getting a crit on the smasher when you do shoot it. Does this mean that you're going to only use this weapon for smashers? No, you can use it for any blasters, and in fact in the gameplay here, I'm actually shooting blasters to show the potential of the weapon. And it's very capable of shooting blasters and taking care of blasters, takers, and any other husk for that matter. You can even do group clear with this shotgun. But the reasoning for trying to help you guys understand shotguns is they do generally fall into one category where they excel more than the other. The Dragoon, being a group clear shotgun, is not going to excel at any range shots. It's going to prevail in the grouped up husk situation where you're reliably killing large groups of husks due to the spread on the shot. And then for your long range category with the helium shotgun or a long arm enforcer, they are capable of taking out some husks that are up close to you, but it won't do any better than a dragoon would. You would be more apt to use it in the long range situations where you try and kill the blasters before they're killing you and taking advantage of the range on the weapon itself. And you also notice that they have a high damage output, but not have quite as high of a damage as a smasher killer shotgun, something like the Stalwart Squire or this new double boiler shotgun, that they have large impact, or something even like the Tiger Jaw that has a high fire rate, where they just fall into this category of excelling at killing one single target, such as a smasher or a mini boss. But there are just categories of shotguns where they just end up doing better in one area as opposed to another, even though they might be capable of taking care of a situation that it's not really geared towards. It doesn't mean that that's what you would use it for. So that's why I personally would recommend this new steam boiler as a smasher killer, and that means that you don't really have to add in that reload speed because you're not focusing on multiple smashers at one time. You get a low spawn rate of smashers, and in the situation of just having blasters, you can take care of a couple of blasters, but ultimately you would probably be better just switching to your helium shotgun in your loadout and taking care of them with that. And the same with the group clear area, that yes, the shrapnel is capable of getting some group clear, but when you can switch to a dragoon and just deal with everything in the area in 1 or 2 shots versus 6 or 7, it just makes more sense to play to the strong suits of each individual shotgun and run a loadout that has one of each, rather than trying to make it excel in one area that wouldn't really bring it to the top of its game, or trying to make it excel in all areas when it would just be better to try and focus on one category in the loadout when you need to take care of that specific situation. But all in all, I just wanted to help you guys learn more about shotguns and the way that you would use them, as well as going over this steam boiler. I think that this is a great weapon. It's honestly, in my opinion, one of the best shotguns, and in terms of its smasher killer category, the Stalwart Squire was originally a favorite of mine. I think that I would place this above it because it pulls Stalwart Squire damage numbers and also has an extra shell that you can shoot from the magazine, giving you that bonus of being able to shoot 2 shots before having to reloading, whereas with the Squire you have to shoot 1 and then reload. So I believe that this is a really great weapon to be using. If you don't have a Stalwart Squire at all, you definitely want to pick this up, but don't miss out on this shotgun either way, because it is a great one to have in your arsenal, and you do want to be able to have it in case you decide that you want to level it later on down the line. But that's about it for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments if any of this information was helpful to you, as well as what you think about the new Steampunk shotgun. I personally enjoy it, and I think that it's doing awesome damage and it's performing great, and I'm really interested to see what the rest of you have to say about it as well. But again, I just want to thank you all for watching and being supportive, and I'll see you in the next one.